Hello, everyone. I hope you are all doing amazingly well. What are we chatting about today? Today, we're going to talk about signs and synchronicities. What does that mean? So, signs and synchronicities are messages from, now, depending on your beliefs, this is going to be different, I'm sure, for many of us, but it is signs from spirit. It is signs from the universe, from our angels, our guides, or whatever it is that you believe in. So it is when we look around us, and I might have to veer away here and there because I always see signs and things when I'm outside. It's crazy. Um, Sorry, as I'm looking now, look at squirrel. Not really a squirrel, but um, it's paying attention to the things that are presented to us to give us signs, clues, cues as to what is going on in our life, what is coming into our life, what we are asking for. We are given signs all of the time. And especially for those of you that are really just starting out and really starting to delve into, who are you? What are your gifts? What are you meant to do? This is something to absolutely keep an eye on and pay attention to. So signs and synchronicities are going to be given to us in many, many, many ways and many forms. So you always have to be paying attention. You want to follow your intuition, because I can tell you right now that, especially if you're starting out, you're going to notice things, you're going to hear things, you're going to see things, and your mind's going to go, no. But then you're really going to go, yeah, no. And you're going to dismiss those things that are being brought to your attention that have purpose and meaning and that are important. So just to give you some examples or some things to think about, it could be anything. So maybe you hear a particular song all the time, and when you hear it, you're like, oh my gosh, yes, there is a good chance that that song's there for a meaning. And a really good story, a quick story about that. Years ago, I was in a bookstore. I was looking for a new book, and I wasn't quite sure what topic, what I was looking for, what was I supposed to pick up and start reading. And it was some random, like, it wasn't even Pandora, I don't know, it was some random station, I guess, that the bookstore had on, and this song came on, and it was singing about angels, and it was like the whole store got quiet. Like, all of the people that were chatting in this bookstore, everything went silent, and the only thing I could hear was this song. And all of a sudden it clicked. Oh my gosh, this is my sign. And actually I wound up picking up a book. I was not quite in the area where the book was, but I wound up getting a book about talking to and learning to connect with our angels. And it was one of the best books I have ever read. I think I've actually read it 3 separate times because it was so good. So it's picking up on those clues, those things that are being given to you to maybe answer the questions you're looking for. Maybe you're looking for clarity in your life or understanding of things that are going on or are meant to come or meant to be. And you're not certain, but you're asking, you're putting those intentions out to the universe, to your angels, to your guides, or you're asking clearly for signs. Don't be surprised if you get them. Don't be surprised if you get them. It's paying attention to things that go on. So, for me, I'm very nature driven. I'm very connected with animals. I get a lot of signs when I'm outside, a lot that has to do with birds for me. And the other day I was out here asking specifically for something I have going on. I was looking for a sign. I don't usually ask for signs. And I was just clear as day to the universe, to spirit. I'm really looking to understand if this, this particular thing is going on, is happening, is gonna, whatever. And it was very crazy that day how I had a particular insect that in the morning I wound up saving out of a bucket of water we have out back here. And later on in the day, another one came in to visit while I was sitting out here, outside in the cabana. So sitting out here. And then a third time that day, we happened to be somewhere and this insect showed up again while we were parked outside of a like UPS store. Like my husband was dropping something off and I was waiting in the truck, and I look over and I see this insect on the side mirror of the truck, just walking around doing its thing. And that's when it clicked. So, and for me, I have a certain thing with numbers. So sometimes things happen in a sequence of numbers. And that has a sign, a meaning to me, for me. So that was really interesting that day. So just another example. But pay attention to the things that continuously start popping up in your life. And it doesn't matter if it's, maybe it's a commercial, maybe it's a color, maybe you're starting to feel super drawn to something and it doesn't make sense to you. But look up, look into, research the meaning behind whatever it is. So like I know for me lately, I don't live in the middle of nature like I would love to. And for some reason, like this whole week, the past couple days, I've been really drawn to the dandelions that are out here in my yard. Why? We get dandelions every single year. I've never been like so attracted to them and so drawn to them as I have the past few days, past week or so, I don't know. So finally the other day I was like, okay, what is my obsession? Why am I being so drawn to these dandelions that are always there and I see them all the time? And now all of a sudden, like, I get up in the morning and I'm like, ooh, I'm going to go look at the dandelions. Well, I did some research. I researched the meaning, the purpose, like the meaning behind dandelions. And there were some things that really, really stuck out and rung true for me. And that's another important key to explain too. So as you start paying attention to and you start really grasping onto and noticing and recognizing these signs and synchronicities, and you start researching what they mean, you are going to find that so many things have so many different meanings. Like they really do. They have so many different meanings. So when you do that and you go, well, okay, so this dandelion has 20 different meanings. Well, what does that mean for me? You want to focus on, what does your intuition tell you? What stands out to you? What resonates with you? And there's your answer. And if you are trying to learn to trust your intuition and you're not quite there yet, that's like a whole other topic. But learn to follow your gut, follow your intuition, follow what feels right to you. But start paying attention, if you're not already, to the things that are presented to you in your everyday life. And I know, like I gave the example of the music, of the insect. Now it's dandelions. It could be something like you see or hear a particular commercial all the time, and it resonates with something you have going on in your life, or that you start noticing a specific color or a specific animal, or you're hearing a specific song like we touched on. You're finding yourself very drawn to something specific. It's a little hard to put into words, but it's very, very interesting that when we really start to hone in and pay attention to what goes on around us and the signs that we are being given by the universe, the messages that are trying to be delivered to us, when we start to listen, when we start to focus, when we start to really pay attention, you can't miss them. You cannot miss them. And sometimes, you'll question it. I do it. I do it. Like I said, the dandelion thing for me, it took me until yesterday to go, what is my obsession with these dandelions lately? Is it because I don't live in the middle of the nature and I don't have a lot of like pretty naturey things in my backyard? Like, no, it clicked. And I went, okay, what is the spiritual meaning behind them? So start to pay attention to those things and don't dismiss them. And honestly, if you're dismissing it, it's probably, more often than not, an absolute sign or synchronicity for you. And if you keep dismissing whatever it is going to keep coming at you. You're going to keep hearing it, seeing it, smelling it. I don't know, maybe it's a smell. Maybe it's a smell that means something to you. But pay very close attention to those things because they have a meaning for you. They are messages that are trying to be delivered to you. Even if you're not asking questions out loud or trying to connect with spirit to ask these things, you might have these thoughts in your mind that you want to know something or you're trying to understand something. And the universe will deliver those answers to us sometimes in the most strange ways. But we have got to pay attention. It's so incredibly important. Sometimes those things are just like further clarification of things that you're meant to see or know or do or work with. I had a session myself weeks back and something had come up in that session and I took it very seriously. But literally over the next few days, I started seeing exactly what this thing was. And if it was not just complete confirmation from spirit, it's amazing how things work. But when we are truly tuned in and we really pay attention, it's even more amazing. When you really focus on what's going on around you and you start to really grasp these things and you start to see them and hear them and feel them and you know them, it's beautiful. And then go a step further. Journal. Yeah, I journal a lot of things that have to do with myself and my spiritual life because it is really interesting to look back, but it's also interesting, like if I forget, or it's just good to have it as like on record to look at. Yeah, it never hurts. But start paying attention to those signs and synchronicities that the universe is throwing at you for whatever reason they are doing so. And as I say this, something just fell. Okay, I think it's just a branch. I was going to say something just fell from the sky, from whatever, from a tree. So now, and then my dog was like, what's that? So of course now I'm like, what's that? Feathers. Feathers are another thing. Feathers are gifts and have meanings. If you are getting feathers all the time, finding feathers all the time, and it's, look them up. Always, always, always look up. If you start to notice these signs, these synchronicities, these messages, these things that are coming to you and you're not 100% sure what they mean or why, do your research and figure it out. And it will be absolutely amazing and sometimes completely mind-blowing to you when you really start to hone in on these things and you start to recognize what's going on around you and what is being presented to you. It is amazing. So don't dismiss those things that you're like, no, there's no way. Yeah, yeah, the universe is trying to reach out to you. So pay attention. Pay attention. And even say that one step further. You may have loved ones who have passed on and are trying to reach out to you. And they too are going to send you signs. They're going to send you things that they want you to recognize, to know that they are there with you. That's another big thing to kind of point out there. I just popped into my head. So there's today's message. Run with it. Go with it. Learn to pay attention and open your mind to the beautiful things that the universe is trying to connect to you with and trying to present to you. Peace, love, positive blessings, and positive vibes to everyone as always. And I hope that you have a magical and amazing day.